watching Marvel Live from San Diego Comic-Con 2018, and we're here with writer Margaret Stohl. Hey, Margie.
Hey, I'm here.
You're here. You made it. You survived.
I survived. I'm back in the happy place.
Yeah. You know, I want to talk about, first of all, this awesome variant, because every year Marvel does a variant of a title.
Yeah.
And it's
They
really
switched
cool.
outfits.
I love it.
Okay.
It is my fave.
If you knew how much I worship G. Willow Wilson, who actually writes Ms. Marvel, like legitimately worship her. Like she tweeted something nice the day that that Life came out this week, so we're hot off the presses, and I just started bawling. Like that was like the only thing that needed to happen all day.
Oh,
yeah,
the best.
Yeah, so this is super exciting.
And Life of Captain Marvel is here.
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
It's one of the most powerful women in Marvel. How is it like writing that?
Well, it's definitely a responsibility, and Carol's not. She's not easy. She doesn't work with just anybody. She'll she makes trouble for about 2 years, and then finally she'll cough up her story. But this one was super personal. It's super emotional. You know from my past talks with you that I can barely talk about it without sobbing. So like it's close to home, and that's where all the good stuff for a creator really happens.
Yeah, you do such a beautiful thing with Carol, you know, through your run of Mighty Captain Marvel and now going into Life of Captain Marvel, where you put her in tough situations that aren't just tough for her fighting aliens or whatever, wherever she is, but it seems you also put in this like emotional crux into every fight. Where do you find that?
Yeah. The Horcrux, if you will. No, I think that when you're as strong as Carol, your issues aren't with your physical strength.
Right.
And I think that part of what I'm looking at here is that being physically strong isn't necessarily what makes you strong.
Yeah.
And I think that Marvel does a beautiful job of reminding us all the time that our superhumans are humans.
Right.
So to do to do like a new look at her origin story, to kind of tell the untold side of the story, we really went back to like a family story and to see what made her, like her human origins, and then also her superpowered origin. So it was my very most favorite kind of story.
Yeah.
You know?
And what do you think are some of the things about the character of Carol Danvers that people have embraced? She's such a beloved character and such a powerful symbol for women all over the world. Like, what is the main thing about Carol Danvers that is like that is Captain Marvel?
Well, we talked about this a little bit on the Women of Marvel podcast. Shout out Women of Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. But and I think part of it is that like men are culturally trained to present their strength, and women are culturally trained to sort of hide it. So I think that's part of what Carol, like, she's an out and proud, strong, you know, female hero, and she's always going to get flack for that. But she's also like one of the very few role models we have like that, which is why it's so important. But also she's super flawed, and people who have seen, I mean, more people will get to know her now as she makes her big screen debut. But like, she's funny, and that's sort of like a wonderful side of her. But she's also like just, you know, she's struggled as much as everyone else. So she's always about like her strengths and weaknesses are all sort of piled up together. And she's kind of great because she sort of owns all of it, you know?
What made you go, I want to do an origin story for Carol Danvers?
Partly there was a feeling that we needed to really like get it clear and straight for everyone as we knew a broader audience was coming to the story, to Carol from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But really also, Carol had never really, I mean, Kelly Sue DeConnick is like a goddess, and she really invented this sort of modern take on Captain Marvel. So this is really just layering and building on what she set in motion about 6 or 7 years ago now. But it's more about like Carol, in her words, sort of looking at her life and telling us how she got to be here. And it's been really like, I think it's one of the most rewarding creative experiences I've had, period. I mean, in books and in games and in, you know, across the board. So it's been super fun.
Oh, I do want to say thank you, if you can hear the audience behind us. One, not only are we both repping our Captain Marvel
Yeah,
band,
these kicks.
just
These
fully
sweet kicks.
wearing our sweet full star, holla star, holla.
Holla at your star, baby.
I really, Captain Marvel is taking over, and I mean, I think I saw that you were the story, The Life of Captain Marvel, was picked up in a Maine newspaper. Like, Captain Marvel's from here.
I'm like above the fold in Maine news.
Amazing.
It's so exciting. Someone just sent me a picture of them reading Captain Marvel, like in Harpswell, with like the bridge where a critical accident happens and all kinds of things. Like they were like right there going, oh my gosh, it's right here. So it's exciting.
I do want to touch a little bit on where do we pick up in the life of Captain Marvel for anyone who wants to jump in.
Yeah, so this is like, we've purposely set it up so you can jump in on the life of Captain Marvel, and that will like give you the basics of what you need to know. Although, honestly, I do totally swear by everything Kelly Sue DeConnick did in her run. So that's like, I'm not trying to nudge anything apart, but I'm saying you can pick that up. Carol is with the Avengers. She is going about her business, kicking butts, you know, saving the day, but she is not okay. And actually what sets it all in motion is Father's Day, and which actually is a thing you can kind of watch happen, you know, as these online now as we all talk to each other. And it's her old friend Tony who finally sits her down and is like, you got to get your business straight. And I love their friendship. Like,
well,
they've been
you
through their
love
ups and downs.
Tony Stark, and I know this. I know this from your Black Widow book because you're always going on about like. But I could write like 1,000,000 pages for Tony.
I think they cut 70 Tony Stark pages out of that book. I like a bad Tony Stark joke more than anyone. I have like a little bad Tony Stark that sits on one of my shoulders. I don't even really have it. I used to say I had a Pepper, but I just have a bad Tony. I have two.
Well, what is it about Tony Stark? What is it about Tony Stark you love? What's so cool about him to you?
You know, a lot like Carol. He's cracked, and he owns it. And he's like, deal with me. I'm a force of nature. I have a big ego. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I'm all of these things. I am totally messed up. And a lot of that also is from his family. So I think that, like, I think those issues are so relatable, and everybody is working out their, you know, relationship to their family their whole life. And so I sort of love seeing, you know, that's essentially also like the joy of Peter Parker like you're working out your family, like we all are.
As this series continues, what can fans look, without giving any secrets and spoilers, what can fans look forward to?
It's a very real story. It's a super emotional story, and the stakes will just get bigger and bigger. And by the end, you will understand. You will kind of understand what makes her tick, and you will understand. You will see her story in an entirely new light.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a bunch of fan questions here. I don't think we're going to get to many, but someone said, Margie, I honestly love Life of Captain Marvel, already one of my all-time fave Carol stories, super important for old fans like me and new ones. How will the series impact her life moving forward to her most epic year ever, 2019?
Ooh, that just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
It will impact her. She will be different moving forward. So Marvel has been really supportive about putting some big stakes in the ground. So it's going to be interesting. So I can't really say anything. I will just say thank you, unknown internet friend, and hold on, because it's going to be a real ride. That I can promise.
Well, and another person wanted to know what it was like to write the Black Widow novels, but also you got to write Black Widow and Captain Marvel together.
Yeah.
You got to bring your two boos together. How was that?
My bays and my boos. Yeah, no. Women of Marvel has been important to me. I love showing women friendships.
Yeah.
And it's been, you know, whenever I get to show Jessica, either of the Jessicas, the Jesses, for Captain Marvel. And also I loved, you know, I was heartbroken when Ms. Kamala and Carol had a parting.
I know.
And happy when they had a non-parting. So, you know, I love that. And I think that people are different around their friends than they are around, you know, the people they're saving. I know I am.
Oh, and on a personal note, just thank you for Cloak and Dater, the Soups dating app. One of my favorite puns.
Cloak and Dater, you're welcome. And you will notice there is also, I have multiplied the cats. That's another thing you can always depend upon for me.
Always cats.
Cat from Home is fighting with her alien cat.
Now with more cats. Yeah. You're welcome.
And one more fan said, Margie, loving the new Carol hairstyle in Life, and the reason why she let her hair grow back again. When and how did you guys decide it was time for a change?
Yes. So Carol has had a controversial hair story always, and truthfully, what happened was Carol. We needed to show that it was not business as usual. That Carol is taking time out, and that this is a real change, and that like her life is. She has stepped out of her regular life, and I know for me, that's one of the things that happened is like I stopped thinking about, you know, anything really.
Right.
So like you're not taking care of yourself in that way. And then we also wanted to show her seeming younger. Like people, you know, I walk in through my house, it's my parents' doorway, and I regress.
Oh,
And-
yes,
right?
we all do,
So, like,
don't we?
So Carol is like, you know, forced back into her childhood bedroom, and there's a scene from line from one of the comics I was just revising that's like, it's the return to the scene of the crime. You know, the evidence is all still here. So that was part of it too. Is like, she's confronting her childhood. So that was part of the thing we wanted. But also, I support like women heroes and women and like dogs and cats and boys having whatever hair they want. Like I don't think it necessarily has to mean anything. And I think that she was pivoting, and you know, it was time for different hair, so she got it. But I didn't mean anything other than like I wanted to show change.
Yes.
Well, Margie, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you pick up The Life of Captain Marvel. Such a great book.